Hello dear students, as you know we are doing chapter number 15 waves. Now in the last video lecture we have discussed about the standing wave or stationary wave. And the stationary wave, the thing about the stationary wave is it doesn't move in the direction. And what was the stationary wave? We have discussed that if two identical waves, when I say identical, identical in all means their wavelength, frequency, intensity, amplitude, everything. When two identical waves traveling in opposite directions superpose each other, then the resulting wave does not move in either direction. The resulting wave is called stationary wave. In the last video lecture we have understood the stationary wave graphically. Today we are going to see some examples of a stationary wave. There are three examples. One is stationary wave in a string. Second one is stationary wave in an organ pipe. And there are two cases of organ pipe. One is closed from one end and the another is open from both the ends. Okay. So let us do them one by one. The first thing we are going to do is stationary wave. Stationary wave in stretched string. Stationary wave in a stretched string. There are three modes there are modes of vibration. So let us start with the first mode of vibration. First mode of vibration. First mode of vibration. And this what happens if the string is attached between two rigid supports. So these are the rigid supports. They will behave as a rigid boundary. In the last video lecture we have discussed about what is a rigid boundary, what is an open boundary. In the rigid body what happens? Always this particle does not move. This particle does not move. This particle does not move. So basically when the particle is not moving at all because it is a rigid boundary, then what will happen? Node will be formed. In the last video lecture again, node and antinode were discussed. Node means no displacement. The particle is showing no displacement. Antinode, which shows the maximum displacement. So the first mode of vibration is given by this one. This is the minimum frequency possible in a stretched string. The string is vibrating like this one. The string is vibrating like this. Is it clear? So in this one, if this is the mode of vibration, so suppose if the length of the string is small l, suppose the wavelength of the wave which is produced over here, it is lambda 1. So what will be the value of length over here? The length of the string is going to be what? So now just compare this one with this wave. So this wave is actually this much part of the wave. So basically from here till here the length is what? Lambda. So this is what? Lambda by 2. So length of the string is equal to what? Lambda 1 by 2. Okay, length of the string is what? Lambda 1 by 2. From here the value of lambda 1 comes out to be 12. The value of lambda 1 comes out to be 12. So this is the wavelength of the first mode of vibration in a stretched string. Now if I want to calculate what is the frequency, so frequency of wave nu1 is going to be what? V upon lambda 1. What is the value of velocity of a wave which is traveling through a stretched string? It was under root T by mu, where T is the tension in the string, mu is the mass per unit length that we have discussed earlier also in the previous video lectures. And what is the value of lambda 1? Lambda 1 is 12. So basically the first frequency is given by nu1 is equal to V by lambda 1, which is equal to 1 upon 2L under root T by mu. L is the length of the string. So this frequency is called fundamental frequency. This frequency is called fundamental frequency, or it is called first harmonic. First harmonic. This is the minimum frequency of which minimum frequency of a stationary wave which can be formed in a stretched string. This is the minimum frequency. Now let us try to understand the second mode of vibration. Okay, let us try to understand the second mode of vibration. Second mode of vibration. So when we discuss second mode of vibration, what we are going to have this time, say this is a string which is of L length. Now what is the second mode of vibration? Earlier in the first mode of vibration, here one node is formed, here one node is formed, and this point is antinode. Again, since that is the rigid boundary, so basically one node will be formed over here, one node will be formed over here, that is fixed. Now in the second mode of vibration, one more node is formed in the middle, at the middle. So the wave will be like this way, and this wave superposed with the reflected one, and a stationary wave is formed. Okay, so this is second mode of vibration. Now the length of the wave, since it is a complete wave, so it is 2 L lambda only. So here the length of the string, that is your L, it becomes what? Lambda 2. L is equal to lambda 2. So frequency F2 is equal to velocity upon wavelength. What is the velocity? It is under root T by mu. What is wavelength? 1 upon L. Now if I want to compare this frequency with this frequency, so F2 is equal to what? I can write 2 upon 2L under root T by mu. Now 1 upon 2L under root T by mu was mu 1. Okay, earlier I am denoting with mu 1, let it be mu 2 and let it be mu 2. Okay, so this can be written as 2 times mu 1. So mu 2 is equal to what? 2 times mu 1. Is it clear? So in the second mode of vibration, the frequency which we have got, it is actually the 2 times the frequency of the first mode of vibration. It is the 2 times of the frequency of first mode of vibration. This is called first overtone. This frequency is called first overtone, or it is called second harmonics. Okay, remember there is nothing like first overtone in the first one. In the first one, fundamental frequency or first harmonic. In the second mode of vibration, first overtone or second harmonics. Now let us move to the third mode of vibration, and then after we will generalize it. Third mode. In the third mode, what will happen? How the vibrations are being produced. So let's say length of the string is L only. Now again one node will be increased. So this time it is going to be something like this way. This is the third mode of vibration. And this, how many nodes are being formed? Just see. One node, another one, another one, another one. 4 nodes, one antinode, second antinode, third antinode. 3 antinodes and 4 nodes. In this one, 3 nodes, 2 antinodes. Is it clear? Now what is the length? See, this is one wave complete, and then after half wave. So length of the string is going to be 3 lambda 3 by 2. In this case, the frequency is given by speed of the wave upon wavelength lambda 3. From here, if we calculate the value of lambda 3, it is going to be 2/3 times L. So let us put the value of V from here. It is 2 upon under root T by mu, and the value of lambda 3 is 2 upon 3 upon 2L, since it is being reciprocal to 3 upon 2L. Now just see, 1 upon 2L under root T by mu was mu 1. So we can write mu 3 is equal to 3 times mu 1. So this frequency is called second overtone, or third harmonics. Okay, second overtone or third harmonics. Now if I want to calculate the ratio of frequencies, same way in the fourth is going to be like that, like nu1 is this one, nu2 is equal to 2v1, nu3 is equal to 3 nu1. So nu4 will be 4 nu1, nu5 will be 5 nu1, in the same manner. So if we take the ratio of nu1 is to nu2 is to nu2, nu3 is to so on, what we are going to have? 1 is to 2 is to 3 is to 4 is to so on. So this is the ratio of harmonics. This is the ratio of the harmonics. The question in the exam may be like, show that the ratio of the harmonics in a stretch string is in the ratio of 1 is to 2 is to 3 is to 4. So you have to basically solve all these. So this is the basically vibrations, mode of vibration in stretch string. I'll try to put one animation regarding this so that you can understand what are the harmonics and how it is being produced. Okay, I'll put in one animation so that you can understand. Now let us move after the animation. We just first of all see the animation, then after we'll discuss organ pipe. Dear students, as you can see, as we were studying stationary waves in strings, just I've tried to put an animation so that you can understand the string, the stationary wave in the string. As you can see in the diagram, in the figure which I am showing you, there are modes of vibration in the strings, and you can also see that the wave is not moving in either direction, only some part of the wave is being vibrated and the wave is not moving in either direction. That's why it is a stationary wave. Moreover, the first from the left, okay, the first one up from the left is the first harmonics, first fundamental. The second one is second fundamental, third one is third fundamental, and fourth one is fourth fundamental frequency. Okay, so this is how that diagram I was making on the board, and if you able to relate this diagram with the diagram made on board, you will be able to understand. Now students, let us understand what is an organ pipe. Organ pipe. What is an organ pipe? So organ pipe is basically, you must have seen a flute. Okay, you must have seen a flute or so many musical instruments which are in which we blow the air, and then after the musical sounds are being produced. So those all which use a hollow pipe, and when we blow air into it, sounds are being produced. All those are can be said as an organ pipe. So organ pipe is basically what? It is a hollow pipe which can be closed at one end, which can be open at the both end. And in this, what we do, we set up air columns. Okay, we set up air columns, and when the air columns superpose each other, then what happens? Sound is being produced. So basically all the musical instruments which use a hollow pipe, they are a kind of organ pipe. So we have to study two kind of organ pipes. One which is closed from one end, and another one is which is open from both the ends. Now just try to understand. If we take an organ pipe which is closed from one end, suppose this is the length of organ pipe, and this is closed from this side. So this end which is closed, it will behave as a rigid boundary, because the air particle which is related to this one, which is in contact with the, you can say, this rigid wall, will not be able to vibrate, will not be able to change its position. Why I'm saying so? Because if this has to vibrate in a perpendicular direction, it can vibrate, but since sound is a longitudinal wave, and a longitudinal wave, what happens? Compressions and rarefactions are being formed. So when compression rarefactions are being formed, particles have to move along the direction of wave. So particle cannot move in that direction because it is a rigid wall. So basically what happens, this at this point only node will be formed, but now this end is open, so here antinode will be formed. So if we talk about first mode of vibration, first mode of vibration, what we are going to do is, you see how the diagram is going to be like, this is the minimum frequency which can be formed. Following this condition that at this point a node should be there and at this point an antinode should be there. So this is the minimum frequency which can be formed in a closed organ pipe, obviously closed from one end. So now if you compare this length, so if we talk about wave, so this length is basically from this point to this point. This point we are going to take. From here till here it is lambda by 2. So from here till here it is lambda by 4. So basically this is going to be equal to 1 by 4 of the wavelength which is being produced over here. So now if length of the organ pipe is L, then here that length of organ pipe is going to be what? Lambda 1 by 4, because this consists only this much wave. Okay, this is being reflected. The same shape is over there. So this length is going to be what? Lambda by 4. So from here the value of lambda 1 comes out to be what? 4L. Lambda 1 comes out to be what? 4L. Now speed of a wave, or if we want to calculate the frequency, what is going to be the frequency? So nu 1 is going to be V upon lambda 1. So value of V is going to be what? Value of V, this is the speed of sound in air, and already we have studied that the speed of sound in air is given by, if you remember the formula, the speed of sound in the air is given by Laplace correction. Okay, so what we are going to have? Gamma p by rho. Okay, gamma p by rho, and the value of lambda is what? 1 upon 4L. So this is the value of first fundamental frequency. This first fundamental frequency is called, obviously this is fundamental note, or it is also called or first harmonics, like we have done first harmonics, right? Now if we see the second mode of vibration, then in that case what will happen? Say this is your organ pipe. You have to follow one condition, that this side antinode should be formed, this side node should be formed. How it is going to be then? It is going to be like this. It is going to be like this, in this manner. So here a node is formed, here an antinode is formed, here a node is formed, here an antinode is formed. Okay, so this is how the second mode of vibration is possible. Now just see, if you compare it, this is a half wavelength, like again you are comparing it with the wave. So this particular starts from this point to this point. So this start from this point to this point. This much wave is there. This total length is what? Lambda. This total length is what? Lambda by 4. So basically, for lambda minus lambda by 4, what we are going to have? 3 lambda by 4. So here, in this case, this is thing for understanding only. So here in this case, L is equal to what? Length of the organ pipe is equal to what? Lambda minus lambda by 4, that is your 3 lambda 2 by 4. Okay, 3 lambda 2 by 4. I hope you are able to understand. This length, this wave is actually this part. This is total length is lambda. This length is lambda by 4. To from what is the length from here till here? It is lambda minus lambda by 4, that is 3 lambda by 4. From here, lambda 2 is going to be what? 4L by 3. Lambda 2 is equal to what? 4L by 3. Now here, If we calculate the frequency in the second mode, nu2, it is going to be V upon lambda 2. So V is going to be what? Gamma p by rho, and the value of lambda 2 is 3 upon 4L. Now just see, it was 1 upon 4L gamma p by rho, it is 3 upon 4L gamma p by rho. So from here, if we calculate the value of nu2, it is going to be 3 times nu1. 3 times nu1. Okay. So this frequency, this nu2 is called first overtone or second harmonics. Okay, this is called first overtone or second harmonics. Now let us come to the third mode of vibration. Third mode. In this, what happens? The organ pipe is closed from that side. A node has to be formed. So how the wave will be there? Just see. It will be like this. Okay. So it will be, the length of the organ pipe will be like this. This time, how many nodes are there? Just see. 1, 2, 3. How many antinodes? 1, 2, 3. Okay, every time the node and antinodes are going to be equal. 1 antinode, 1 node. 2 antinodes, 2 nodes. Here 3 antinodes and 3 nodes. Okay. So from here, if we see the value of L, this is a complete wave, that is your lambda plus lambda by 4. It is going to be 5 lambda 3 by 4. From here, lambda 3 is going to be what? 4L upon 5. Lambda 3 is equal to what? 4L upon 5. Now this time, if we calculate the frequency, it is going to be V upon lambda 3. Value of V is gamma p by rho, and value of 1 upon lambda 3 is 5 upon 4L. So if we compare with the first one, we will have nu3 is equal to 5 times nu1. So in this case, the frequency will be 5 times. Now if I calculate the ratio of nu1 is to nu2 is to nu3 is to so on, if I calculate more frequencies, it is going to be 1 is to 3 is to 5 is to so on. Means in this, the ratio of frequencies come in odd numbers. Earlier, when we are studying for a stretch string, it was there in the consecutive numbers, integers only, 1 is to 2 is to 3 is to 4, like that. But in this one, the ratio of frequencies is going to be in odd numbers, 1 is to 3 is to 5 is to 7 and so on. So again, I'll put one animation so that you can understand these mode of vibrations very clearly. Suppose if you have been asked what is the name of this film, so this is going to be the third harmonics. I forgot to write. This is what? Third harmonics or second overtone. Second overtone. Okay, this is third harmonics and second overtone. Suppose if someone asks what is fourth harmonic, so see, this is 1, this is 3, this is 5, that is going to be what? 7. So it is going to be 7 times nu1. Okay, so we'll do accordingly. The number which we have been asked, we'll do accordingly. Okay, so now I'll put one animation so that you can understand, and then after we'll do organ pipe open at both ends. Dear students, you can see here the vibrations of air column, and it is the air column in an organ pipe, and this is an organ pipe which is closed from one side. As you can see, the end which is closed where a node is formed, and the end which is open and antinode is formed, and this is the first mode of vibration. This is the first mode of vibration as I was telling, and the first mode of vibration is actually of length lambda by 4. Now let us go to the second mode of vibration. The second mode of vibration is like this. Again, an antinode is formed at the open end, and closed end a node is formed. So this is your second mode of vibration, and third mode of vibration is this one. So this is your third mode of vibration. In this, and again a node is formed at the closed end and antinode is formed at the open end. As you can see also, there are 3 nodes and 3 antinodes, one at the open end, one at the mid and one at the sidewise in the left side. In case of second fundamental, we have 2 nodes and 2 antinodes. In case of first fundamental, we have 1 node and 1 antinode. So these are the vibrations of air column when we talk about vibration of air columns in a closed organ pipe. Now let us do organ pipe. Next topic is organ pipe, but it is open at both ends. Open at both ends. So at both ends, air columns are free to vibrate. So at both ends, antinode will be formed. So let us do as we were doing first mode of vibrations. First mode of vibrations. First mode of vibrations. This organ pipe is open at both the ends. So at both the ends, what will be formed? An antinode. So how the wave will be formed? Wave will be formed. The minimum frequency which is possible is going to be this way. This is the minimum frequency which is possible. So at this point, a node is formed. At this point, an antinode. At this point, an antinode. Okay. Now what is the length of this one? So just see this, how much part of the wave it is. It is from here till here. Okay. This complete wavelength is lambda. So this is going to be lambda by 4 and this is going to be lambda by 4. So if we calculate this much length, it is going to be what? Lambda minus lambda by 4 plus lambda by 4. Lambda by 4 is lambda by 2. So lambda minus lambda by 4, lambda minus lambda by 2, we are going to have lambda by 2. Okay, and moreover, if you see one more logic you can apply, the distance between two consecutive antinodes or nodes is always lambda by 2. That I was telling you from the very beginning when we are studying stationary wave. This logic you can apply in a stationary string also. The last topic we have done also in this topic. The distance between two antinodes is always lambda by 2. So here the length of the pipe, that is L, is equal to what? Lambda by 2. From here the value of lambda 1 is equal to what? 2L. Again the first frequency, first fundamental frequency, or first harmonic is given by velocity upon wavelength. Now velocity is going to be what? Gamma p by rho. And what is the wavelength? It is 1 upon 2L. So this is the value of frequency in the first mode of vibration. This frequency is called fundamental frequency. Fundamental frequency or first harmonics. First harmonics. Okay, first harmonics. Now let us move to the second mode of vibration. Second mode of vibrations. If you do this one, again organ pipe is open at both the ends. Organ pipe is open at both the ends, and now both the ends are have one antinode should be there. So the next frequency which is possible is going to be like this. Okay, the next frequency which is possible is going to be like this. So this is an antinode, this is an antinode, this is an antinode, this is a node, this is a node. What is the distance between two antinodes? Lambda by 2. Lambda by 2. Total length is going to be what? Lambda. Okay, so what we are going to have here, the length of the organ pipe L is equal to what? Lambda 2 only. So frequency is given by V upon lambda 2. Value of V is what? Gamma p by rho. And value of lambda 2 is 1 upon L. If we multiply 2 in the numerator and the denominator, we are going to have 2 upon 2L under root gamma p by rho. Now 1 upon 2L gamma p by rho was nu 1. So we can write nu 2 is equal to what? 2 times nu 1. This is called what? This is called second harmonics. second harmonics or first overtone. Okay, if you understand one very clearly now, all the things are same. Okay, now let us do the third one, third mode of vibration. Third mode of vibrations. In this, how the wave will be formed? Now one more antinode has to be adjusted, so it is going to be like in this way. Here it is going to be in this way. Okay, so in this way it is going to be. So one antinode is here, one antinode is here, one antinode is here, one is here. This is node, this is also node, this is also node. 3 nodes, 4 antinodes. In this case, the length is going to be lambda by 2 plus lambda by 2 plus lambda by 2. It is going to be 3 lambda 3 by 2. From here, lambda 3 is going to be 12 by 3. Okay. Frequency is going to be mu 3 is V upon lambda 3. Value of V is what? Gamma p by rho. Value of lambda 3 is what? 3 upon 2L. But 1 upon 2L gamma p by rho is mu 1. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to write mu 3 as 3 times mu 1. Is it clear? So this frequency is called what? This frequency is called third harmonics or second overtone. Third harmonics or second overtone. Now similarly in the fourth one, nu4 is going to be 4 nu1. In the fifth one, nu5 is going to be 5 nu1. It will go on similarly. So if I take the ratios of nu1 is to nu2 is to nu3 is to so on, what I'm going to have? 1 is to 2 is to 3 is to so on. Okay, so this is how the vibrations in the air column takes place. And again, I'll put one animation so that you can understand in the next topic. And after the animation, we'll start the next topic, and which is going to be the last topic of your syllabus also, which is beats. Now students, let us talk about vibrations of air column in an organ pipe which is open from both the ends. As we know, at the open end, an antinode is formed because particles are free to vibrate over there. So at both the ends, an antinode is formed, and at the mid of the pipe, a node is formed. So basically there are 2 antinodes and 1 node in the first fundamental frequency of air column vibration in an open organ pipe. If we move to the second fundamental, then we can see there are 2 antinodes at both the ends. One antinode is in the between, and there are 2 nodes. So basically there are 3 antinodes and 2 nodes, and this is the second fundamental vibrations, second fundamental frequency in case of an open organ pipe. Now let us move to the third one. In the third one, the vibrations are like this. So this is the third case where this is the third fundamental frequency, and here also if you can count the antinodes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 antinodes, and we have 3 nodes. So in this, the number of antinode is greater than the nodes by 1. So these are the fundamental frequencies in an open organ pipe. Now let us move ahead to the next topic. Now let us start the last topic of your syllabus, which is beats. Beats. What are beats? Again, it is an application of superposition of waves. But earlier, in the case of a stationary wave, we were discussing that the identical wave should be identical. When 2 waves are traveling in opposite direction, and they are identical in all respects, when they superpose each other, they form a stationary wave. Now the condition of beats are different. Wave should not be identical. They have slight different frequencies. They have slight different frequencies. When they superpose and they are traveling in same direction. When they superpose each other, now what happens? A continuous rise and fall in the sound we can hear. Continuous rise and continuous fall in the sound we can hear. This rise and fall occurs alternatively, means first of all a rise, then a fall, then a rise, then a fall. Okay, so one rise and one fall is called one beat. One rise and one fall is called one beat. And when it happens, when two waves of slightly different frequencies traveling in the same direction superpose each other, and of course I'm talking about sound waves, superpose each other, then what happens? Beats are formed. Let me show you a demonstration. You can do it at your place also. Just you have to type on Google that online tone generator. Okay, so one interface like this opens. I'm going to play a frequency of 440 Hertz. Just see how it sounds. I have opened the same page on the different page also, and there also 440 Hertz is there. I'm just playing that also. Now a bit rise in the sound we can hear. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to change frequency in the second one. Just try to understand, just try to listen how the sound is being produced. Can you hear the rise and fall? Now the frequency is 441 Hertz and the one frequency is 440 Hertz. Can you hear the rise and fall? If I make it 442, again it is silent, okay, but again if I change the difference, one is at 440 Hertz, another one is 441 Hertz. You can clearly understand the rise and fall in the sound. Now 442 Hertz, rise and falls becomes more frequent. 443, 444. So this is what beats means. You can hear that rise, fall, rise, fall, rise, fall, rise, fall alternately. This is what a beat means. When we draw a graph for a beat, how the graph is going to be like? If you draw a graph for a beat, the graph is something like this. The graph is something like this. This is the rise in sound, this is fall, this is rise and again fall. This happens in the case of beats. Okay, so just a demonstration I have shown you, and now let us try to analyze it mathematically. What is the frequency of the beats if two slightly different waves superpose each other? Now I'm going to take the point at which the superposition takes constant for both the waves. So kx part will not be there in the wave. We will only take the vibrational part. Okay, like what I'm trying to say is the equation of a wave is y is equal to a sine omega t minus kx. But I'm saying that the point at which the superposition is taking place, that point is constant, right? That point is constant. So what I'm going to do is, I'll just ignore the part kx. I'm not ignoring, but the thing is, in beats what happens? In beats what happens? that x is fixed. So for both the waves, x is going to be same. For both the waves, x is going to be same. When they superpose each other, okay, when they superpose each other, and basically here we are talking about the rise and fall in the intensity of sound. And intensity is something which depends upon amplitude. Intensity is something which depends upon amplitude. Okay, position is being fixed, and now we have to understand what is the variation in the intensity. That is the variation in the variation in the amplitude. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take only the vibrational part, that is a sine omega t. Okay, so I'm going to take two waves which are identical, but they have slight different frequencies. Okay, let us take one wave as y1 is equal to capital A sine omega 1 t, and another wave is y2 is equal to capital A sine omega 2t. When they superpose each other, the resulting wave will be and before I just add them y1 plus y2, I'm going to write omega 1 as A sine 2 pi. Since I'm talking about sound, so it is nu 1 into t. Nu 1 is frequency. A sine 2 pi nu 2 into t. So what I'm going to have here, capital A is common because both have the amplitude A only. We are going to have sine 2 pi nu 1 t plus sine 2 pi nu 2 into t. Okay, sine 2 pi nu 1 into t and sine 2 pi nu 2 into t. Now I'm going to apply the formula sine c plus d. Sine c plus sine d. I hope you remember the formula. What is sine c and what is sine c plus d? The formula is going to be what? Sine c plus sine d. In mathematics, we must have studied. It is going to be 2 sine c plus d by 2 cos c minus d by 2. Okay, this is the formula. Let me confirm. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to apply this formula over here. What we are going to have, and I'm going to write cos first. So I'm going to have a into 2 cos c minus d, that is your 2 pi in bracket nu 1 minus nu 2 into t upon 2 sine c plus d, that is a 2 pi if I take common, then nu 1 plus nu 2 upon 2 t upon 2. Okay, now just see, this 2 and 2 will be cancelled out. This 2 and 2 will be cancelled out. Y is going to be what? 2a cos pi nu 1 minus nu 2 upon 2 into t and sine pi nu 1 plus nu 2 upon 2 is cancelled out. No? So we have nu 1 minus nu 2 into t and sine nu 1 sine pi nu 1 plus nu 2 into t. So this particular part of the equation shows that that the resulting wave has variation according to the sine theta. The resulting wave has variation according to the sine theta. And this particular part of the equation is the amplitude. If we compare it with the resulting equation a dash sine omega dash t or 2 pi nu dash t, which should be the resulting wave. So from here we get a dash is equal to what? It is 2a cos pi nu 1 minus nu 2 into t, and nu dash is going to be what? Since just see here 2 pi is there and here that 2 is being cancelled out, so nu dash is going to be nu 1 plus nu 2 by 2. Okay. Now in beats we talk about rise and fall in the intensity of sound. And when we talk about rise and fall in the intensity of sound, intensity depends upon amplitude. Now the amplitude varies according to the cos theta. So A dash is maximum when cos pi nu1 minus nu2 into t is equal to plus minus 1. A dash is maximum when cos theta is maximum. And cos theta is maximum, it simply means the angle when it is plus minus 1, it is either it is 0 degree, cos 0 degree is 1, cos pi is minus 1. So it is going to be 0. At 0 it is plus 1, pi minus 1, 2 pi plus 1, 3 pi minus 1 and so on. So what we can write? We can write pi nu1 minus nu2 into t is equal to n pi, where n starts from 0, 1, 2 and so on. Pi and pi will be cancelled out. From here the value of t comes out to be n upon nu1 minus nu2. And since n starts from 0, it simply means the first maximum will occur at t is equal to 0 second. The second maximum will occur on 2 upon nu1 minus nu2 second. The third maximum will be occur at 3 upon nu1 minus nu2 second. Similarly, it will go on like this. The first maximum will occur at t is equal to 0 second because the value of n, I have just put value of n as 0 because n starts from 0. So at 0 second, 2 upon u1 minus u2, 3 upon u1 minus u2. So from here, from this analysis, what we can say that the time difference between two consecutive maximums, the time difference between two consecutive maximum is equal to what? I have just missed one, then after 2. Okay, time difference between two consecutive maximums are 1 upon u1 minus u2. Just see, first it is at 0, second is 1 upon u1 minus u2, third one is 2 upon u1 minus u2. So what is the time difference between successive 2? It is 1 upon u1 minus nu2. Moreover, A dash is minimum when cos pi nu1 minus nu2 into t is equal to 0. And when it is equal to 0, so pi nu1 minus nu2 into t is equal to the first it will become at pi by 2, then 3 pi by 2, then 5 pi by 2 plus so on. So pi into nu1 minus nu2 into t is equal to, if I generalize it, I am going to write it 2n plus 1 upon 2 into pi, or 2n minus 1, where n starts from 1, 2, 3, so on. Pi and pi will be cancelled out. So t is going to be what? 2n minus 1 upon 2 nu1 minus nu2. And if you put n is equal to 1, what we are going to have? Just put n is equal to 1 over here. So 2 minus 1, 1. So it will be 1 upon nu1 minus nu2. It is 1 upon nu1 minus nu2. This 2 is missed. So it is 2, comma. The first minimum will occur at this time. The second minimum will occur. Just put n is equal to 2 from here. 2 2s are 4 minus 1, 3. 3 by 2. So 3 upon 2 nu1 minus nu2. Third one is going to be at 5 upon 2 nu1 minus nu2. It will go on like that only. So the time duration between two successive minimums, 3 by 2 minus 1 by 2, it is equal to 1 only. So 1 upon nu1 minus nu2. The time difference between two maximum is 1 upon nu1 minus nu2. The time difference between two minimum is 1 upon nu1 minus nu2. Okay, one rise and one fall constitutes one beats. Okay, constitutes one beat. One rise and one fall. They are combined together, and now they are called one beat. So one rise takes how much time? Time difference between two rise is what? 1 upon nu1 minus nu2. If I just try to arrange it rise and fall alternatively, what are according to the time, the first will be having maximum. Okay, the first will have rise. At 0 will have rise. Then at 1 upon 2 nu1 minus nu2, 1 upon 2 nu1 minus nu2 will have fall. Then 1 upon nu1 minus nu2 we have rise. Then 3 upon 2 nu1 minus nu2 will have fall. So just see, rise, fall, they occurs alternatively. First of all, one rise, then one fall, one rise, one fall. It will like this. So how much time is being taken to complete one beat? This much time. One rise and one fall. Consecutive. If we start from here, one rise, say just leave this 0, one fall and one rise, they make one beat. So how much time they'll make to complete one beat? It is 1 upon nu1 minus nu2. So the time period of beat, let me remove in the beginning. The time period of the beat is what? T is equal to what? 1 upon nu1 minus nu2. I hope you are understanding. From 0, when we say that one beat is being completed, till that point when the next beat starts. Next beat is start at this point of time. Just before this we'll say that one beat is completed. So the time period of beat is 1 upon nu1 minus nu2, and therefore frequency of beat is going to be what? nu1 minus nu2. So what is the main funda of beats are? What is the main funda? The main funda is that whatever be the difference of the beats, whatever be the difference between the frequencies of the wave, the same number of beat we are going to listen per second. Let me show again that demonstration so that you can understand. You can understand this phenomena. Just see, I've just adjusted the frequencies at 440 Hertz, right? And the second one I am adjusting it 440 Hertz, right? Let me play it. Okay, this is 440 Hertz. I hope you are able to listen. The next one, the next I am going to make sound is also that 440 Hertz only. Okay, 440 Hertz, right? I am playing this one also. They both are played together. And now just see, I've just made it from 440, I've just made it 441. Just see, I've just opened two tabs. On this tab 440 Hertz is being played. On this tab also 440 Hertz is being played. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to just change this frequency by 1. Per second, how many beats you are going to listen? 1. If I change it by, if I just subtract it also, no beats because both the frequencies are equal. Again 1 beat per second. Two beats per second. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So this is how it works. You can try it at your place also. Okay, just try to put online tone generator, just play with it, have fun. You can also check your till what frequency you can hear. Okay, so this was the last topic, how the beats are being used. Beats are basically used by music artists. They try to set one music instrument with the standard one by just listening to the sound. If beats are being heard, it simply means they are not producing the same frequency. If beats are not heard, they are producing same frequency. It means to standardize a musical instrument. And the other thing is, it is to calculate, to know frequency of unknown wave, like suppose unknown sound wave. Suppose if one standard sound wave is there, that frequency is known. So what we do, we just play both the sounds together. If beats are being heard, It simply means frequency is something different. We try to change this frequency until the beats are not heard. When this frequency and this frequency matches, the beat frequency becomes 0. So the known frequency is actually the value is the value of the unknown frequency. So this is all for the day, and this is all for your syllabus also. This was the last topic. Due to the very little time duration we did not discuss any numericals. So this is going to be your part. You have to solve your numericals by yourself. If you are not able to solve, let me know your problems. We'll discuss it. Okay, so this is all for the day. Thank you.